Well, hello. Here we are. Corey's going to show us how to stretch a pot. That was a term I wasn't used to, so this will be interesting. I now kind of understand what's going to go on. So, all right, Corey, show us all about how to stretch a pot.
Well, this could be a setup for failure because I haven't been throwing for 8 years, and I've just begun throwing again last week. So, showing it online is a sure bet that maybe you could flop. So, anyway.
Well, look at the bright side. I'll be the only one that sees it, possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be a high price if I have to buy them off. Anyway, I just weighted down the bat. This thing is called a bat. It's a throwing bat, and that's a real wheel head. And these two bolts are what holds the bat on. So that when I'm at my prime, I can throw 60 pots in an hour. It takes me a minute to throw a pot, usually a simple pot. But this is going to be a hummingbird night light. So I put it on there, and I had to wipe off the bat because I don't want the dry clay to have it.
Okay, well, wait a minute. What is a hummingbird
Nightlight?
nightlight? What are you talking about?
Okay, the carved pots that I made, a taller one with a hole in the back can become a nightlight. And I'm going to have it on the subject of hummingbirds. So what I'm going to do is throw the basic form to later come in and carve hummingbirds on it and put a hole in the back for a nightlight to go in. This is the thing I was talking about earlier, that the first one I ever made was for my mom because she couldn't have candles in the hospital. And I wanted her to have something that she was scared of the dark at night. She was having night terrors. And she had, they thought it was Alzheimer's. It turned out to be brain damage from a tumor surgery that she had in her brain. But the bottom line is she was scared at night. And I wanted her to see something that would make her feel happy. So I'm going to throw this is where the term throwing comes from, I think. You throw it on and make sure it's stuck real good. Now I'm going to do a thing called centering.
It looks like it's kind of wobbling.
It is. It's got to be centered.
Okay, and how does that happen?
Well, just watch. This is a part that everybody thinks gets really messy, and it can be. You have to center it. You have to push on it so that as the wheel spins, it centers it. And I realize it looks really simple, but I've been throwing for 47 years. So to people that try it the first time, I dare you to think you can do it easy. It takes a little bit of time to center it right. But if you don't center it right, nothing on the wheel is going to work, not a thing. Okay. So that's a centered pot now, and it's not going wonky. So the speed is by the foot pedal there, and I have a real loose foot pedal. I need to tighten it up just a little bit. I'm going to open it now. It again a little more. Now I have an open mound that I can work with between my hands, but you have to make sure you don't let too much water stand in it. That's a common mistake of a lot of beginners, is to just keep lots of water in the center of it and the bottom, and what that does is promotes it to crack. As it's drying, it'll crack because it's absorbed too much water. So you put water on the clay surface, and then you pull up the puddle.
Somehow or another, I got a feeling that'd be really depressing.
Yeah. I have to put that much work into it. Now I'm pulling it up.
Okay. Now, how do you pull it? How are you pulling it up? What do you?
I'm putting my hands like this. I make them like one unit. Put my center fingers together. These two fingers support the center finger. And the clay comes up between those two fingers.
Okay.
Okay. So now I wet the walls a little bit.
Water's a really important part of this, isn't
Water
it?
it is. It keeps the friction down. But too much water causes cracks and problems.
Gee, that's never happened, has it?
Yeah, never.
That didn't sound very believable, Kori.
Not very sincere, huh? So this is the lip of a pot, this is the foot of a pot, and this is the belly. And there's no
Okay.
shoulder right now because it's shaped like this. So now, in a minute, I'm going to stretch it with a rib. So a lot of the body parts of a pot are similar to human structures. On the inside, I want to make sure I have a flat bottom with no water in it. I'll let you look at that on the inside with the camera. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to add a little more to the sides to make sure my fingers are slick. And keeping no puddle in the bottom. So when I stop the wheel, the water all drops to the bottom. Then I'm going to start all over again. So now I'm going to bring out more clay from the center. Bring it over to the side. And in my hands, the clay pulls up with my fingers. It rises above my fingers. So those ridges you can see coming up, those are called finger ridges. It's really hard to talk and throw at the same time. But I used to demonstrate pottery in my shows. Because as soon as I did, I'd get lots of people into my booth. And anybody that's had shows knows that you don't make money if you don't have people in your booth. I even had some competing artists in shows bake cookies and give away free cookies to get people in their booth. I just like, go over there, get a free cookie, and then come over here and watch a real artist. And they did. They'd go get a cookie, and they'd come up. He made her so mad. So, but I used to get free booze.
Here we go. Kori telling you on Basic 101 how to make friends. Maybe not. Maybe that wasn't the right term. Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah. And I'm lowering the speed.
I sit here watching you, holding my breath and not talking. Does it bother you if I talk while you're doing that?
No, I can't talk because I have to hold my breath.
Yeah.
Because I wiggle my hands if I breathe. So you're fine to talk.
Don't want to be a distraction and cause it to collapse.
No, you won't cause it to collapse. I will.
So, there's a funny story about Kori and a clay pot. A big one.
Oh boy. Here we go. You need to know on the outset. Spoiler alert. Bob lies a lot.
Tell them what happened.
I'm busy throwing.
No, you need to tell about this while she was in school. While she was trying to throw a really big pot.
I had a sectional pot going. That ended up being 4.
Wait a minute, sectional pot. What?
Sectional means you have 3 wheels going. You throw 40 pounds on each wheel. You pull it up to about here, about this big around. And then you disconnect them and put them together so you have large pots.
Okay.
So you're standing on a chair on top of the pottery to pull it up.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm busy.
Uh-huh. And then what happened?
The night before, because you have to throw these pots over a 2-day period and keep plastic over them, let them set up so that they don't collapse. And that was back in college days. You know, maybe some of our politicians didn't inhale. I did. And I inhaled quite a bit the night before. And I came in to work on this sectional pottery. And I had all 3 sections together, so it was about 4 feet, because I got about 10 more inches out of it. And I leaned down, because I was standing on a chair, leaned down to pull it up again, and I got disoriented and dizzy and fell into the pot. And, because I was standing above it. All you could see, apparently, according to some traders that told others about it, all you could see were my little feet going around and around and around. And so Mel, my instructor, after he was done laughing his butt off, pulled me up out of there by my feet. But he had to take a picture first. Now, I've never seen that picture, and unfortunately for all of us, Mel has passed away. So I'm now safe to talk about it, because I don't think there's any pictures of it around.
Oh.
But he made me...
I would have loved to have had one of those pictures.
Well, Mel and his brothers. There was Mel and Dewey. Dewey was the oldest, and Clayton was my biology teacher in high school. And Mel was the youngest. Mel was about 10 years older than me. He sat me down and said I needed to choose between pot and pottery. And realistically in my life right then, it was one of the best talks I've ever had, other than the ones my dad always had with me. Because it made me realize I needed to choose. Did I want my education, or did I want to be a druggie? And I chose pottery. So it was a turning point in my life. Albeit a little funny turning point in my life. Because I realized that...
No, it wasn't a little funny.
I'm sure my feet going around like this.
Just think about it.
Of a large
just
pot.
think about it. Here's a grown woman.
I wasn't grown. I was 20.
You were done growing by 20. Well, okay, maybe you got a little heavier. You didn't grow any taller.
I was grown. I have not grown since 6th grade.
So here we have a grown woman falling into her pot with her feet sticking up while it's going around on a table like this.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't take a great imagination to think that's really a funny story.
I'm ready to move on here.
I'll bet you are.
I'm trimming my pot. I'm taking the extra clay away from the side, because this was supporting it, but I no longer need it, so it's extra clay that I need to get out of there. So I take my needle and go all the way down and come straight up. Then I cut it this way. It's kind of like cutting down a tree 101. You take a quarter out of it and pull it off, and
Wow.
this becomes the stuff that I put my needle in.
Okay.
So needless to say, when I taught at-risk young people at Colorado's finest alternative high school, which I dearly loved that school, loved all the kids, and I have a lot of contacts with them, that was my story to remind them that life needs to go on without drugs and alcohol. Re-wetting the walls again. And then I'm going to do a thing called collaring it in. I need the top to be a little bit thinner. And I can't have friction or it will twist the pot. So now I'm going to come in here and pull it in again with my fingers. Making it a little bit smaller. Now this pot, you can go all the way in until it's like a little bitty neck. But this is going to be a nightlight, so I need to be able to get a hand inside of it after it's all fired.
Yeah, you got to remember, most people have a bigger hand than you.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to do a thing called ribbing and stretching. And stretching is not an easy thing to do. So I'm going to go on the inside and push out on the wall so that the clay body right now is like this. It's solid. As I stretch it, it goes like this. Okay? And then the holes that are there, because you've stretched the clay, they can go, and the pot can then go and collapse onto the inside. So Let's hope that doesn't happen. I'm going to first of all go in the inside, and you go from up to down. You can see where it's going out is where my rib is.